Do you see something technical that he's not quite doing? Is it physical because of that injury and he's not moving? What do you see?
Well, I think physical part he'll get to the right levels the more he keeps. I think technically with wicket keeping, the most important thing is posture and first of all getting a good sighter of the ball. So, and also the angles. You saw the stumping that Alex Carey had that came in between bat and pad, but that was from around the wicket. So when you're keeping around the wicket, you don't have to really anticipate too much of the ball biting and turning back in because there's a chance of the angle taking it away as well. But over the wicket, as we saw to Cameron Green, first of all, you have to keep a little bit wider if the batter's in your eye line, so you get a good sighter of the ball. Then you've got to understand what's happening on the pitch. If there is bite and turn, as we saw this pitch does have, then you've got to understand the moment the ball pitches outside off stump, you have to be able to gauge that the first side you have to cover is the ball turning back in. So you have to have a good balance in terms of weight distribution, but the moment the ball pitches, you have to actually be ready for the ball that comes in. You can't hedge your bets and think, I'll just wait in one position. So the movement of the feet is really crucial, Nasser.
I'm going to show you that stumping. I'm going to show you a split screen. So you're saying even though Carey couldn't see the ball as much, because it goes through bat and pad, that's the harder take. You see, Johnny there could see it all the way down, but it spins big. That's the easier take for you.
Yes, on the angles, the one that comes between bat and pad from around the wicket is much harder because of the sight line. But when it comes to Johnny Bairstow, I would much rather have him stay here in this position as he starts off. He's got a very wide stance, but the moment it pitches, actually shift your weight to the left side, open up this hip a little bit more and be ready, because if it actually goes the other way, you've got the option of actually opening up and taking the ball with more room. The moment you actually try to stay in the middle and it turns quickly, you're not in a position to open up that left hip, go with the bounce, go with the turn and take the ball. The most important thing in keeping is your posture and your footwork. Your feet have to move all the time. You can't stay static at least half a step so that you're in the best position to catch the ball. It's a little bit to do with training, more consistent training, get the rhythm, get the feet moving, he'll get there. And unfortunately for Johnny, he had 2 bad misses.
How about the skill of standing up? Because I've been looking at the stats of catching the ball and stumpings. And if I show you recent England wicketkeepers, Jos Buttler is exceptional at catching the ball. Now, some of that is standing up, obviously, but he's very low with stumpings. Johnny Bairstow actually is good at both. And the anomaly there is that Ben Foakes is brilliant at stumpings. He's the best, right? He's kept in Asia and he's outstanding. But his stats are low catching, and everyone has him as the best keeper. Is that because of what you've said historically, that Ben Foakes goes for catches that others don't? I'm going to give you a couple of examples.
Well, it could be a bit of both. At the end of the day, the first thing you have to do is catch the ball, irrespective of whether there's a stumping on offer or not. So if you are keeping to pace, you are covering the edges. You forget about going back to the stump, so it's much easier. When you're keeping to spin, you have to have the mentality that, okay, every ball is going to miss the bat. And if it misses the bat, forget asking yourself the question, is there going to be a stumping? Catch the ball first, because you always have enough time to get back to the stumps for a stumping. You don't have to think that you have to be ultra quick and every time the batter lifts his foot off the crease, maybe a centimeter or two, that you've got to be so quick as to get the bails off. You have to first be safe, play the averages. If you have an option to stump, make sure that the first thing you're concentrating on is get that ball correctly into your gloves. Once you have it, the rest becomes easy. For Johnny Bairstow, irrespective of the comparisons between Buttler or Foakes, for him, it's training. Make sure that when you are getting ready for a test match, keep on good surfaces. You don't have to lose rhythm by trying to keep on things that rag. Make sure that your feet are moving, so that when your feet move, your head gets behind the ball. If your head's behind the ball, Nasser, the gloves always follow. Sometimes we are fed the fact that it's always about the hands. It rarely is. That's the last thing that comes into play. Posture, movement, quick movements, powerful movements, head behind the ball, open hands, open palms, fingers facing downwards, pouch the ball, then think of the stumping.
3 days left in this test match. 2 key men at that end, Nathan Lyon, Moeen Ali, because it's going to spin, and because it's going to spin, two key men at this end, Alex Carey, Johnny Bairstow.
It's what makes the game so fascinating.